Okay, let me describe a little history of why I built this thing. It's accumulation of my life story in a way. So what I'm doing is starting here. I'm a kid in the 60s, and two of my favorite toys was a hobby thing called 101 Electronic Project Kit. I spent hours with this thing building different electronic things. Of course, there was no microcontrollers at the time. Also, another one of my favorite toys was my chemistry set. And I spent endless hours with my chemistry set. Some of making bombs and doing all kinds of weird things, but lots of chemistry. So when I went to college, University of Kansas, I got a degree in biochemistry, a degree in chemical engineering, petroleum engineering, and from there I went into the IT field, and I worked in IT for probably 20 or 30 years before I finally got back to my childhood joys of chemistry and electronics. And what started it was probably about 2009 is when I read this article, Just What is an Arduino, in Wired magazine. And I thought, man, that's pretty cool. That's the kind of stuff, it's programming stuff which I like, it's microcontrollers which I never really got familiar with because they weren't around when I was a kid. And I read that, got real interested, and my wife bought me this for Christmas. I figured I would just hook it up and turn a few LEDs on and off and just, have a little general fun with it, and it morphed into MEOWSER. At the same time I was looking at the Arduino, for some reason I was getting back into the chemistry again. I was just fascinated by some web pages that I found. One of them was this advanced periodic table. It's ptable.com. Go look at it if you get a chance. In my opinion, this is the single best web page ever built. You mouse around this thing and there's so much information. It's incredible. Different tabs. I'm not going to go through this guy's software here, but well, that looks awful familiar, doesn't it? That looks like MEOWSER. See, as you're mousing around, you get different information. So somehow I got the idea to combine my love of chemistry and periodic tables with the Arduino to create my MEOWSER project. I figured, well, I'll collect all these elements and put them in the cabinet, and I'll have this browser mode for MEOWSER. Another piece of the puzzle was this web page from theodorygray.com. If you get a chance, go look at this. He built, out of his ignorance, he built a periodic table out of wood. He didn't know what it was at the time. I think it's kind of half a joke, but he collected tons and tons of samples of minerals and metals and things for his periodic table. And he has a vast array of samples if you click on it and go, well, he's selling stuff too, but it's really great what he's got in here. Let me see if I find it. There we go. And so there's his periodic table. You click on one and it shows you the metal, and you can find all kinds of samples of what he collected for those. So all that came together, and I decided to build MEOWSER. But of course you don't know what you don't know, and that's when I got sucked into 3 years of MEOWSER project.